Well, of course, Tyson's a great fighter, isn't he, Tyson Fury? The best heavyweight of his generation. But I just wonder if he's met his match with Alexander Usyk. I think...
It can get you in a lot of trouble thinking, Gareth. I wouldn't do so much of it.
Yes, you're right. It's actually Usyk who's ducking Fury, I think.
Now what have I just told you about thinking?
So the Tyson Fury propaganda machine is in full swing once again. They've even wheeled out the despicable slimeball Mauricio Sulaiman this time in a desperate attempt to defend him. We'll get onto that a little bit later on. But firstly, TalkSport were rightly criticizing Tyson Fury in recent weeks for his constant lies, gaslighting and ducking. But then Bricktop goes up there the other day, starts shouting and screaming, as he does, and trying to dictate to them what their narrative should be on Tyson Fury. The spineless Gareth A. Davis immediately falls in line, of course, and starts offering the absurd notion that it's somehow Usyk who's ducking Fury, flying in the face of literally all the facts. It's the fastest one-man gaslighting job I think I've ever seen. Well done, Bricktop. Round of applause. We've got a boxing promoter literally bullying journalists on air into going along with his pathetic spin campaign, almost trying to dictate editorial policy about his fighter. And these guys are actually going along with it. He doesn't pay your wages, does he? So what the hell are you doing? It's one of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. When Eddie Hearn goes up there, they stick it on him, as they should. I applaud them when they do so. They don't back down. They don't recant or apologize or retract anything when it's Eddie Hearn. They stick to their guns. But they don't keep that same energy for Bricktop. Whenever he goes up there, they're all absolutely petrified of him, including Simon Jordan, by the way. If I didn't know any better, I'd think they really were scared of being fed to the pigs. Anyway, here are the facts. Usyk tried to make the Fury fight in early 2022, but after several weeks of negotiations, Fury inexplicably moved the goalposts completely out of the blue by demanding a tune-up fight, which threw everyone's schedule off and ultimately scuppered the fight. Fact, Usyk tried to make the fight again early this year. He agreed a deal with the Saudis to fight Fury in the Middle East, but Fury turned the Saudi deal down. Fact, why, after several weeks of negotiating, did he turn down the Usyk fight in Saudi Arabia and insist on doing it at Wembley instead for a lot less money? If he was desperate for the fight, as Bricktop claims, then that move makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. But if he actually didn't want the fight, then it makes absolutely perfect sense, because all the subsequent stuff about unfinished stadiums, purse splits and rematch clauses was just window dressing, designed to run down the clock so he could get out of the fight. Even his own trainer Sugar Hill let the cat out of the bag when he revealed that he was only in the UK to train Lawrence Okolie, and he already had a flight booked back to the US before the Usyk fight was officially called off. Now, let's address this other cretinous individual, Mauricio Sulaiman. Here we have a man who allowed Canelo Alvarez to fight for a vacant world title at 154 pounds against Matthew Hatton, a man who'd never even fought at championship level at his natural weight of 147, never mind 154. Sulaiman literally gave Canelo that WBC belt as a gift when he made that contest, passing over at least a dozen far more worthy challengers than Matthew Hatton. Absolutely incredible. And who can forget when he was constantly allowing Canelo to defend his middleweight title at a catch weight so he could avoid a prime Golovkin? I've never seen anything like it in boxing before or since. Who remembers when Deontay Wilder became WBC heavyweight champion in January 2015? Wilder didn't face a mandatory until nearly 3 years later in November 2017. And can you guess who it was? Berman Stavern. They recycled him. Stavern only had one fight in the intervening period against journeyman Derek Rossi. Yet somehow Mauricio Sulaiman endeavored to make him mandatory for Wilder, while all these far more worthy contenders couldn't get a look in. You couldn't make this stuff up, people. You couldn't make it up. This is what the WBC do. They put their favorite champions in the witness protection program and allow them to sit on the belt for years on end and cherry pick opponents, or in some cases, have no fights at all. When's the last time Jamal Charlo defended his belt? It's ridiculous. They even had a name for their witness protection program at one point. They called it franchise champion. You guys remember that? That was a champion who did not have to fight any mandatories. That's Mauricio Sulaiman, folks. I could go on and give many other examples, but we'd literally be here all day. So anyway, Sulaiman has now come out to do a hasty PR job for Tyson Fury, claiming that the Gypsy King is somehow a victim. I mean, If these guys weren't in boxing, they really should be in politics with all the gaslighting nonsense they carry on with. Sullivan, Bricktop, Fury, the lot of them. Please explain, Mr. Sullivan, how Tyson Fury turning down a big money deal to fight Usyk in Saudi Arabia earlier this year makes him a victim. How does that work exactly? Usyk accepted the deal. If Fury had done the same, the fight would have happened already. Fact. And then we're hearing that Fury's desperate to fight AJ. Well, if he's so desperate to fight Anthony Joshua, why didn't he call him out immediately after the Jermaine Franklin fight? Why did he wait until AJ was already in negotiations for a huge Saudi fight with Wilder, which will pay him way more money than fighting Fury at Wembley? Make it make sense. And why is Fury calling out AJ anyway? AJ's over the hill, isn't he? Lost 2 of his last 3 fights. Why isn't Fury focused on fighting Usyk in December? The Saudis say they're about to make him another big offer. If Fury really wants a summer fight, why not defend his world title against Frank Sanchez or Filip Hrgovic? Fresh, unbeaten fighters who'd happily take a small purse just for the opportunity. Isn't that what champions are supposed to do? Fight the best available opponents? That's what Muhammad Ali did. That's what Lennox Lewis did. How else do you justify calling yourself world champion unless you're willing to prove it by constantly fighting the best? If Fury don't want to fight the best, then give up the belt. Then he can go fight whoever he wants. He can take on Wings of Redemption for all I care. But when you have a world title, you have an obligation, as far as I'm concerned, to unify and then to fight all the top contenders, especially the unbeaten ones, until you've cleaned out the division. If Fury ain't willing to fight Sanchez or Hrgovic in summer, then shut up and sign for the Usyk fight in December. It's very straightforward. And going back to Bricktop for a second, he claims that Usyk is only interested in money. I mean, the audacity of it is incredible. His man, Tyson Fury, publicly stated on several occasions that he wanted $500 million to fight Usyk. And privately, he's alleged to have demanded at least $120 million from the Saudis directly. Fury moved the purse split with Usyk from 50-50, as it was originally, to 70-30 in his favor. He also charged nearly £30 a pop for people to watch him fight a washed-up Derek Chisora for a 3rd time on pay-per-view. And you say it's Usyk who only cares about money? Unbelievable. Fury signed an 8-figure per fight long-term promotional and broadcast deal with Top Rank and ESPN a few years back. Usyk has never had a deal like that before prior to signing with the Saudis. So you're actually criticizing Usyk for signing the same type of deal that Tyson Fury already has himself. And then you're suggesting that Usyk signing this deal makes the Fury fight harder to make, therefore Usyk is ducking? Are you having a laugh? Usyk already tried to make this fight twice, long before he signed with the Saudis, and it didn't happen both times because of Tyson Fury. The Saudis are about to offer Fury the fight again, and if Fury turns it down this time, it will be the 3rd time he's ducked. Tyson Fury is a cancer in the heavyweight division at this point with the way he's carrying on. If he's not going to fight Usyk, he needs to be cut out of the picture entirely and made irrelevant. Let him go do a trilogy with John McDermott. Bricktop might be able to bully and gaslight cowardly invertebrates like Gareth A. Davis, but the fans aren't going for it anymore. The boy has cried wolf one too many times. The jig is up. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.